Thanks for joining us. I'm Brittany Folkers in tonight for Laurel. We have to start with another sobering number in the pandemic. Oregon now has 1,000 people in the hospital with COVID. It's a number that's been sharply rising for the last month. And it's by far the most COVID patients in Oregon hospitals that they've had at one time. Oregon health officials say the overwhelming majority of those COVID patients are unvaccinated. They're once again pleading with people to get the vaccine. And if you won't listen to them, maybe you'll listen to Rick Fielder and his wife. Rick just got out of a Medford hospital after spending a month there, suffering from the effects of COVID.
While in the hospital, I had COVID, I had pneumonia, and 2 heart attacks, all caused by COVID.
It's unfortunate there are so many people that distrust our government and feel that they're being pushed into this, and I was one of them. And it's here, it's real, and it needs to be dealt with.
Because of that growing number of hospitalizations, Oregon is reinstating its mask requirements for some outdoor areas. Governor Kate Brown made that announcement today. The mandate starts Friday. This applies to everyone older than 5 years old, vaccinated or not. It's for most public outdoor settings when you can't physically distance from others. The governor clarified this is focused on gatherings where you're close to people outside your household for a longer period of time, but doesn't apply when you're just passing by others in the park or on a trail. People we talked to in downtown Portland were supportive, but are tired of the continued restrictions.
Honestly, it's kind of frustrating just as somebody who has taken the vaccine and has been, wearing a mask and listening to what the CDC has been saying for the past year and a half. It's frustrating to see us having to start replacing restrictions just because cases are on the rise because people are choosing to not get vaccinated.
The Oregon State Fair, which begins this Friday, would be one of the spots where masks are required outside. The fair says they'll have signs up telling people about these new requirements. A 6-year-old boy is safe after police say a woman armed with a machete tried to kidnap him in Old Town. It happened last weekend. Our Catherine Cook talked with a family friend who witnessed the whole thing.
It's kind of hard to see, but this video shows a woman waving a machete in Old Town Sunday afternoon. Shanae Grant took the video near Southwest 3rd and Burnside.
It's scary when you have a family and you just want to enjoy a day.
She says moments earlier, the woman with the knife tried to grab her friend Alex's 6-year-old son while they all stood in line for pizza.
At that point, Alex kind of threw her pizza. Just get away from me, my son. This is my child. It's not your child. And at that point, she pulled out the machete, yelled some racial slurs, run, N-word, run. I'm going to kill you guys, get my son back.
Shanae says several people called 911 and police were there within 2 minutes. They arrested the suspect, 37-year-old Elizabeth Zerker Wood. Officers took away her machete and an axe. Court documents show Zerker Wood has a history of mental health struggles. Shanae hopes she gets help.
She's clearly battling something bigger than we all know or had to experience. So main goal is cleaning up the streets of Portland, not keeping it weird, right?
I saw her.
Max Seck is a street vendor in Old Town. In fact, that's him in the video behind Zerker Wood. What happened Sunday does not surprise him.
It is bad because I know I deal with a lot of them. Some of them are nice people. Some of them, they might just harassing you, curse you out, but they're not violent.
But sometimes they are. And it's that not knowing what you'll get that's upsetting to so many. Last month, police say a woman visiting from out of town was chased down and stabbed by another woman who'd been camping in Old Town. It happened in the middle of the day. Shanae and her friend were visiting Portland from Tacoma. She says while this won't keep them from returning one day, they won't be bringing kids. Once is enough.
He kept saying to his mom in the car, he was just so happy you're okay, mommy. I'm so happy you're okay. So that was heartbreaking, of course, to hear.
Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Another big safety concern for Portland is the growing number of shootings in the city. Tonight on The Story, Dan Haggerty took a closer look at one of the most recent homicides and the struggle to solve these crimes.
I was on Instagram last night and someone shared a video with me. Viewers do it all the time, but this is a video that I really wish I wish I never had seen. It's been haunting me ever since. It was a video of a murder in Portland. I have the video on my phone still. I'm not going to show it to you. Don't worry. Trust me, you don't want to see it anyway. It's been taken down since Instagram, I guess, realized it was there. But I'm sure that a lot of you have probably seen it already. And I know this because apparently it's gone kind of locally viral. It shows a fight outside of this 7-Eleven near Lents Park. This is video that we got from the scene after that shooting. But in the cell phone video that kind of shows how it all took place, it shows a scuffle and a bunch of girls actually fighting and pulling hair and throwing punches when a few guys come over and break up the fight. And it seems while you're watching it like everything is over. I remember thinking to myself, why am I still watching this? When out of nowhere, someone pulls out a gun and fires it. This man. This is a still image of the gunman. Black pants, blue shirt, one shoe. He looks tall and thin, I think, but how can you really be sure in an image like this? One thing I do know for sure is that he's still out there. The man he killed marked the 60th homicide this year, 30-year-old Johnny Polanco. He was a dad, which is kind of a trait that always sticks out to me in stories like these. Today we talked to his family and we wanted to know about what they're hearing from police about the search for his killer.
That video's out there. It's been seen thousands of times. It's been shared so many times. And Portland isn't big. I know somebody knows someone who knows someone in that video. The picture, those faces are clear as day.
What have you guys heard from police about the investigation?
That they have a couple leads, but nothing solidified, nothing solid. So we'll see. I called her yesterday just to touch base with everything, but still at square one, I guess. Johnny's like the 30th statistic in Portland, a homicide. 60th?
The 60th.
Yes, and I refuse to let him go as a statistic. Like, he has a name. His name is Johnny Polanco, and I will scream it till the day that someone is put behind bars for it.
2021 is on pace to be the most violent year in Portland's history, at least if homicides are the metric that you're using. There have been 61 so far, and that puts us on pace to pass the previous record, which was 70 back in 1987. We've talked a lot about the staffing crisis at the Portland Police Bureau, and that includes homicide detectives, which means that a vast majority of these homicides are still unsolved. Portland police were only able to give us information for the first 6 months of the year, but here's what they said. Through the end of June, 15 arrests were made in connection to 49 homicide cases. That's about 30%, which means nobody's been arrested in 70% of our homicides. We did our own investigation too, and we were only able to find 11 people arrested in connection to 61 homicides this year. 11. Earlier this year, we aired a special episode of The Story called Understanding Gun Violence, where we look at some of the factors driving this historic spike, how it's impacting our city, some of the possible ways we can solve this crisis. You can watch it right now on the KGW YouTube channel.
During the pandemic, a lot of homeless camps put down roots around empty school buildings. Now, as Portland students get ready to return to in-person learning next week, at least one of those camps has to go. Today, biohazard crews were out picking up trash at this camp near Sunnyside School in Southeast Portland. They say they'll be back tomorrow to clear it completely. In a statement to KGW, the city said simply that this camp was impeding access for kids by blocking the sidewalk. Advocates and neighbors gave their takes.
A lot of them, when I talk to them, they understand they don't want to be around kids because they understand that kids are afraid of them or that kids might not or shouldn't have drugs, in their midst. Doesn't make it any less sad, though, because they don't really have anywhere to go.
Because every time you pack somebody up and you get rid of some of their belongings, they're a little further step away from moving on and getting some kind of other help elsewhere. Because it's really tragic to have all of your stuff sort of packed up and set away.
In a statement, a rep for Portland Public Schools called homelessness a humanitarian crisis and said they're working with the city and county to resume in-person classes safely. We asked the city about plans to clear other camps near schools, but we haven't heard back. We are learning more tonight about a firefighter killed while fighting a wildfire in Lane County yesterday. 56-year-old Florencio Ruiz Carapia was from Medford. He was part of the crew battling the Gales fire when he was hit by a falling tree. Carapia had been a firefighter for 20 years. His wife told our affiliate in Medford she'd expected him home today, and she even had his favorite food prepared. The Gales fire is part of the Middle Fork complex, which contains multiple fires in the Willamette National Forest.